Hey everybody, Brian Cannon with another edition of OVWmania here on Triple Threat Talk for episode 103. I'm going to hop right into it because I've got several things that I want to discuss today. First of all, Big B and the Doctor hit on it last week, but Alex Silva and Doug Williams have both been released from their TNA contracts, and presumably OVW as well. Doug Williams was being used as a trainer down here, and he was getting wrestled too, of course. But he'll be fine. He's a very talented wrestling technician, and he can move on to other things. The trainees of OVW will be okay. They're still in good hands with Rip Rogers, Nick Dinsmore, Danny Davis, Al Snow, and all of them. Alex Silva's release kind of surprised me. He was the first gut check winner, and even though there was some controversy whether he was supposed to get the contract or not because of Ric Flair changing his vote, he was still the first one. And he's very talented, a very cool dude. I've talked to him several times before. And he's still young. He's only 23. So whenever and wherever he resurfaces, whether he ends up back in OVW or elsewhere, I think he'll be better than ever before. Also, I'm taping this after the episode of Impact that aired on Thursday night, June 6th on Spike TV. Taylor Hendricks made an appearance. She got a match against OVW alumni Mickie James. That also featured an OVW alumni and the referee, ODB. It was a losing effort, but she made a good showing, and she also shouted out OVW during the match, which I thought was pretty cool. Also, speaking of TNA, with me covering OVW, I should talk a little bit about what's going on with them, with OVW being the official developmental league of TNA Impact. I'm like a lot of people, where TNA frustrates me sometimes on some of their decision making, whether it's wrestlers that they push or don't push, just some of their different choices. But I'm hoping they continue to grow, continue to get better. The better they do, the more they up their game, the more it's going to force other organizations, specifically WWE, to up their game, and it's going to be better for wrestling all around, for both the superstars, the fans, anyone affiliated with the product. So I'm hoping they continue to grow and everyone benefits because of it. And something else that leads me to is TNA will actually be coming here to Louisville for Impact Thursday, July 18th. I'm interested in going, hoping to get some good seats, hope it's a good show. And I've talked about going with Big B, Postmaster, and Michael Rickard. So hopefully that comes to fruition. We get to go and have a good time. But by the time this episode airs, the following day on Friday, June 14th, tickets will be on sale at all Ticketmaster locations. You can also order tickets by phone or online, whether you live in this area or not, if you plan on coming to that Impact show that will be at the Broadbent Arena Thursday, July 18th. And I'm really interested also with them coming to town and whether or not that Wednesday before, which will be July 17th, if we don't see some TNA Impact talent pop up at the OVW television taping. I think that would be really cool if TNA sent some guys down in advance, kind of see what's going on at the Davis Arena, and it'd be a treat for all the fans as well. So I'm going to take a really quick break, and when we get back, we're going to talk about OVW over the last week. We're going to go back to the June 1st SNS and then hit on episode 720.
Thursday Night Impact Wrestling Live is coming to Louisville on July 18th. Experience the action, feel the emotion as Spike TV cameras roll live. See Hulk Hogan, Jeff Hardy, The Icon Sting, Kurt Angle, Bully Ray, Aces and Eights, the TNA Knockouts, and many more on July 18th. Be a part of history as Impact Wrestling is broadcast live around the world from Broadbent Arena at the KEC. Tickets starting at $15 are on sale this Friday at Ticketmaster.com.
So I'm going to hit on SNS first. That was on June 1st, 2013. I'm going to hit on the biggest things that happened. The OVW TV title was successfully defended by Randy Royal. He continues to win by any means necessary. He defeated Rockstar Spud with a pair of brass knucks. Despite Taylor Hendricks interfering, Trina was able to successfully defend the women's title against Heidi Lovelace. In what I consider to be arguably the match of the night, Jamin Alvencia successfully defended the OVW heavyweight title against Mr. Spectacular Jesse Goddard. And then the main event of the evening was Michael Hayes and Muhammad Ali Vaez. They successfully defeated the Generals of the Coalition, Crimson and Jason Wayne, But after the match, they were attacked by the rest of the coalition, Delta Team Bravo, Joe Coleman, Gillyman, and the war continues on. Luckily, Rob Terry and some others came out at the end of the night to run the coalition off as Crimson was trying to powerbomb Michael Hayes on a steel chair. That leads us into episode 720, which had a short roster because they actually had two shows when they filmed this on Wednesday, June 5th. They had a second show going on in Russell County at the fairgrounds. Superstars like Sam Shaw, Cliff Compton, Paradise, Lady Tapa, Marcus Anthony, the Blossom Twins, Rob Terry were all out at that show. But even with that going on, they still were able to have a good show at the Davis Arena and set up two big matches for the next SNS Saturday Night Special on July 6th. Now, the show started off with Ali and Michael Hayes coming to the ring and calling out the Generals for their cowardly attack after they defeated them at SNS. Crimson comes out by himself and says they must have hit their heads when they got up. He says that Jason Wayne is receiving medical attention at a local Louisville VA hospital and will not even be able to make it tonight. And Michael Hayes challenges Crimson to a match, which Crimson goes and gets in the ring. And as they start fighting, the rest of the coalition comes out and attacks Ali from behind and then gets in the ring and starts attacking Hayes. Ali gets back to his feet, grabs a steel chair, and runs the coalition off. And then the main event for the evening was Michael Hayes and Crimson. They fought later. But first, going on to some other things, Rudy Switchblade in the next match beat Dylan Bostic. Jamin came out for an interview and told everyone that he successfully defeated Jesse Goddard, who snuck into a championship opportunity at SNS. He defeated Doug Williams, even though Doug tried several times to do different things to basically cheat and win or make excuses to try to win or keep the title. And then he says that his next Saturday Night Special opponent, the new number one contender, is the Welsh Colossus, Rob Terry. He says many people might think of it as David versus Goliath, but he doesn't. He's not afraid, and he's ready for Rob Terry come SNS. Backstage, Randy Royal approaches Tony Gunn. He finds out that Tony has asked for a TV title shot against him tonight, and Tony says it's for his own good. And then we see referee Chris Sharp with a message from Danny Davis to Crimson telling him that the rest of the coalition is banned from his match tonight against Michael Hayes. We have a rematch from SNS earlier in the night. Also, on a backstage thing, we see where Taylor Hendricks tells Heidi that she's all upset about what happened at SNS, and Trina's still talking bad. So Heidi says she's going to take care of it, and she apologizes for not getting the job done at Saturday Night Special. Trina's about to win in the match, which she ends up winning by disqualification, but Taylor Hendricks and Nikki St. John both come out and attack Trina and end up giving her a pedigree-like maneuver and leaving her laying. So it looks like there's a possibility that Taylor is working herself back into the number one contendership spot for the OVW Women's title, and we might soon see her and Trina in a match for that title. Jay Bradley was able to beat Ryan Howe with the boomstick. After the match, he grabs the microphone and says Jamin shouldn't forget about him, buddy. He said while he's out talking about his next match against Rob Terry and climbing mountains and all that, he said that he was beating Sam Shaw on pay-per-view. And he says not only does he have a chance now for to get his hands on the TNA World Heavyweight title, but he doesn't mind making a pit stop and taking the OVW Heavyweight title away from Jamin as well. The TV title on the line between Royal and Tony Gunn. Tony Gunn besting Royal the entire match, so Royal fakes heart problems that gets Tony Gunn all concerned, and then Royal ends up rolling him up for the victory. And then, of course, the main event was Hayes and Crimson. Hayes had Crimson rolled up, but referee Chris Sharp was taken out earlier. And Jason Wayne, who was supposedly receiving medical attention at a VA hospital, runs out and rolls Crimson over on top of Hayes and ducks under the ring. Ali was watching what was going on, runs back out, and puts Hayes back over on top of Crimson again in the small package. And he goes and hides under the ring. And when Sharp turns around, he's able to count the 1, 2, 3 for Hayes. Jason Wayne pops up and can't believe that Hayes got the win because he didn't realize Ali had came out behind him and rolled Hayes back over on top. And then Ali grabs a mic and says that once again at the next Saturday night special on July 6th, him and Michael Hayes will be taking on Crimson and Jason Wayne in a tag match, and this time it'll be for the OVW Southern Tag Team titles. That's it for this week. Don't forget to check out OVWmania.blogspot.com. You can find more details on the other matches that happened at Saturday Night Special on June 1st. More details on dark matches and other things that happened on the latest TV episode, which was 720. And all that sort of stuff. So, this is Brian Cannon signing off.